A few more things left to do before we can go sailing, and one of them is to install some latches in the head here where all the drawers and cabinets go so they don't fall open when we go sailing. And I've got these ones done. They work really well. This is latched down with a rope at the back, but there's something about this one that we're trying to figure out. I don't quite know why it won't close. Oh, hello. You fit in there?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just trying to find out why because from the outside we can't figure it out. So since I can fit in there, I'm trying to figure out what touches. I think I know where it does.
I can't believe you fit in there.
I think it's right here. Because
like,
I'm not sure.
Does this touch up against that?
Either
maybe?
here or up here. All right, now I need.
Can you get out?
I think so. Okay. There's nothing to like hold. There you go. Alrighty. And this is all that I crawled out of.
Like, this isn't much wider than the span of my hand.
Well, we officially left the dock this morning and we are going sailing again.
It's supposed to be pretty light today, but it should be kind of a drifty downwind sail up to West Palm. We're pretty excited to finally get back out in the ocean. It has been way too long.
Yeah.
4 months, I think. We've never been this long without sailing before since we launched 3 years ago.
Yeah. Oh. And one thing about Den and I is we are not very good at staying in one place for a long time. After about a month, we get very
itchy.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we're sailing again. It was about time. I was waiting for this moment. Where are we going next?
West Palm. We're gonna go out on anchor for a couple of weeks and just finish buttoning up Uma and getting her ready for a season in the Bahamas and all that jazz. So it's gonna be nice to finally be swinging on the hook again.
But man, Fort Lauderdale is busy in the morning.
Start your opening.
We just passed our last bridge, but there's so many boats that we're going through also. It was very hectic. It was very, very hectic. But now it's a bunch of windy, windy canal roads, and then we should be out of the inlet. Yeah.
Out of the inlet. We're going out of the inlet.
That's a saying, right?
That's totally a saying. It just sounds weird. What if we went out the outlet? Technically it's an outlet if it's letting you out. It's only an inlet when you're coming in, right? That's a thing. Nice boat! Little tiny Kika. Giant container ship. Makes you feel small, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. We're at though, officially. Now we just have to make a left turn and we're going north for 40 miles. So our friend Tom gave us his asymmetric as a present, and it's not technically new, but he's only been flying it for a few times. So today we're going downwind and the wind is light, so it's going to be perfect to test it out. And here it is! Ah! The best part is it's in a sock. So our old spinnaker, the little blue bubble, wasn't in the socks, so the first time we tried it out was kind of funny. We did some rookie mistakes, but this time it should be easy. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
All the way to the top.
This is the hour, the darkest place. Dante's Inferno, the devil's maze. It's a good world.
Woohoo! She's flying! It's awesome. We actually gained a couple knots just by hosting it, and it's good. Oh, look at our spinnaker! Fly, baby, fly! So, how do you like the spinnaker?
Now we figured out how to put it up. There's a lot of lines to get tangled and everything. It's nice. It's a lot newer, a lot crisper, a lot easier to hoist than our old one was. And it's nice having the Cape Horn steers dead downwind. Or not dead downwind, we're actually on like a beam reach, but it's pretty sweet. It's right on the edge of its capability. We're kind of on a beam reach, and it's pretty light wind. We're under 10 knots for sure, maybe 7 or 8 knots of wind. But right now it'd be nice to have a light upwind sail as well, like a code D or something like that, or code 0. I can't remember which one's which, but it's cut a little bit more like a Genoa, and you can like actually sail to windward, because once we get ahead of a beam reach with this thing, it's just not quite enough wind to keep the luff filled.
Something interesting about this little passage that we're on right now is that this is potentially our last sail without guardrails, or some of you might know that as lifelines, because we got a lot of questions about it ever since we started this journey. How long has it been since we removed them?
Since we bought the boat, so 4 years ago we took them off.
Yeah. So, 4 years ago when we got Uma, we removed the lifelines.
It seems kind of like a weird choice, but the ones that were on the boat, some of them were bent from Hurricane Sandy, and the rest of them were just really wobbly. All of those bolts were leaking, and the wood underneath them was leaking, and the backing plates were really crappy. So they came off, and we filled the holes so that we could at least start from scratch.
Yeah, and then technically we could have just put like random stanchions on and redo the thing, but we had a specific design in mind. What we wanted to do is get some sort of a rail that we would trust, you know, not just a stanchion that would wobble and be weak, but something that would go all around the boat, a solid stainless steel rail, and that we could basically clip on.
The thing with normal stanchions is that they are always wobbly. Like it's a terrible connection of something that's 2 feet long that only has this tiny little base with like 3 or 4 screws in it attached to thin fiberglass. Like that's just an incredibly weak connection. So we didn't really want to put that back on and trust our lives to it. So basically what our plan has been from the beginning is to have a very solid bow pulpit, a very solid stern pulpit, stanchions in between, and then a continuous rail all the way around, so that the whole, and it's all welded together. So the whole thing acts as sort of like an eggshell where, because there's going to be no breaks, there's going to be no gates or openings, the whole thing is just going to be one continuous welded piece, so it should be really, really solid. And now we lulled.
We just like keep doing this. Because we knew we were going to sail the Caribbean, we knew that it wasn't going to be an issue, and we did have in mind, we thought that we were going to get some quotes and be able to do it in the Caribbean for a cheaper price, which turned out to be more expensive than in the States. So
we started in Haiti. In Haiti, we tried to get stainless brought over from the Dominican Republic because her dad runs a machine shop and we figured we could get it done there. But it was 304 stainless and it was brushed, which meant we'd have to polish it. So that was a bust. We didn't spend enough time in the Dominican Republic. The next place we got a quote was Grenada, and they imported their stainless from the United States, so they added a 30% markup on the stainless, plus, that was just their markup, plus the importation taxes to Grenada. And the welders down there, because they're at a marina, were charging upwards of $180 to $200 per hour to weld. Curacao, we got another quote, was almost the same for less work. Colombia, we didn't stay long enough to get the work done. In Guatemala, we got another quote.
So Guatemala technically would have been cheaper, but it did not have the right stainless. It had a 304 stainless.
304 stainless in Guatemala again, and it wasn't polished. It was brushed, so they would have to polish it. So it's an outrageous amount of labor. We could have got polished stainless in Guatemala, but we would have had to import it ourselves on a ship, plus the import taxes, plus the markup, blah blah blah. So it was never affordable. Ever since we left the United States, it would have been cheaper to get it done at Riverside where we started than it would have been anywhere else in the Caribbean.
The thing is too is that because we knew it was always the two of us, we knew how to get around our own boat. And we knew how to hold on to certain things that we just had the rule does not fall over. And if we were in a rough passage, then we would have the jack lines running on both sides of the boat.
We used to rock climb a lot. We're used to kind of putting our lives in our own hands, and we just held on. We knew where to hold on. We knew how to hold on. And also the tethers that we have for our harnesses have a long one and a short one. And the short one's only about 1.5 feet. So when we get somewhere like to reef, we actually clip in and you can lean back on the harness and have both hands and you just swing. You're not going to fall overboard.
Now that we can have patrons and friends and family on board, yes, we see the guardrails to be very helpful, and also because we'll be crossing to Europe next year. That's going to be a very helpful thing, especially for ocean passage, I think.
That's the main one that we foresee just the two of us needing them for. Is if we have to drop a sail or do any work on the bow, it's really nice to have something to lean up against or hold on to. We're also going to be doing work under the deck, reinforcing where the stanchions are going to be so they're very strong, and work above the deck, leveling where the stanchions are going to sit so that they seal really well to the deck. It's going to be a decent amount of work, but once the stanchions are in, then we'll be able to paint and do the non-skid and do the handrails on the cabin top, and then we'll be ready to go. So that's our last big project before we leave the U.S. Holy macaroni! What was that just jumped out there?
Something jumped?
We haven't seen dolphins on this passage. What's going on? They're like violent dolphins.
They're very excited. Exactly. Well, when you were saying that we haven't seen dolphins in this passage, and
normally dolphins are like wee, but these ones are like rah, rah.
Anyway, so what time is it? Maybe 4.
It is, well, let me tell you. Let me give you a little update on our trippy trip here.
Yeah.
It is 4 o'clock, you were right. We should be there by about 6, 7 o'clock tonight. We now have the little knot log thing in the bow, so we can tell the speed through the water versus the speed over the ground, which means we can tell if there's a current, if it's helping us or opposing us. So that's been pretty neat. I know for a fact that our prop is still clean because the tide went out so low a week ago that you could actually see the prop through the water. So the prop speed's actually working pretty well, and we don't have any barnacles growing out.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure the hull is squeaky clean too.
It's been pretty nice. It's been pretty nice to not have to jump in that nasty murky water and clean the hull first. I know ablative wears off and you start to get more growth later on, but we were sitting at the dock for over a month and a half since we put that on.
Yeah, sadly.
And she's still clean, so we've been cruising along, especially with the big spinnaker out.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, it feels good to be out there. We needed this.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it'll be good to be back out on anchor and sort of transition back into cruising mode from live aboard at the dock mode. And then, yeah, end of November or so, we'll be heading into the Bahamas for a couple of months.
Good. Ah,
Pause!
let's go!
Don't
Good world gone bad.
What are we doing now?
Oh, we're wing on wing. with the spinnaker.
Wing on wing with an asymmetric. This is awesome. And dolphins. This has been one of the best first sails we've had in a long time.
I agree.
We were going downwind, wing on wing, and there was just not enough wind to keep the Genoa full. So we popped the asymmetric open, and now we're doing wing on wing. Captain Kika's steering like a laser beam. And
it's so awesome. It's a much more delicate process to do it with the asymmetric versus the Genoa, but
it's big.
so
it's
nice.
pretty.
It's so
That's a
pretty.
ton of sail area. So yeah, thanks again, Tom. This thing is sweet. High five. That was so much easier. That was like 2 seconds.
Well, guys, we made it to our anchorage here at West Palm.
It feels so good to be back on anchor.
Yes.
Little boat, little rocking back and forth, little breeze coming in the V-berth hatch.
Yeah, it took us a little longer than expected, but what was it, like a 10-hour?
10 hours, 51 miles.
Yep. Not too bad, not too bad. A short little passage,
So
and
we were actually expecting more current. I think that's why it took us longer. We were expecting like a 3 or 4 knot current out in the Gulf Stream, but where the Gulf Stream goes up, there's current out, but then it kind of like turns and eddies back. So we were only like maybe 2 miles offshore, and we actually had a counter current some of the time, which was kind of annoying. But anyway, we're here.
yeah, and we were able to test our spinnaker. We got here at night, obviously, like we
Always
do.
get here at night.
We don't really know what it looks like just yet, but it looks like there's a couple boats around us, not many. But for now, Den is cooking some awesome dinner. I'm about to edit this video together for patrons, and yeah,
We're drinking some beers.
we're drinking some beers.
Cheers, guys.
Cool.
Cheers to being
Cheers.
back out on anchor. It's been a while, and thank you for waiting through all of the outrageous amount of boat work. But as you can see, the inside of our boat is now starting to really come together, and she's
Yeah.
a lot more comfortable for us to live in and sail in.
Yeah.
And soon even more so. And then we're out. We're going to the Bahamas this winter, so we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah. So cool. No more docks.
No more docks. We've never stuck a camera all the way back in that corner.
I think it's before we were kind of ashamed of what our galley looked like. But now that it looks super swanky,
Let me open that beer for you.
we can actually promote the hell out of our galley.
Super swanky. That's for you, Ted and Kyle. Cheers to a good-looking galley.
Cheers to a good looking galley, awesome spinnaker. Thank you, Tom.
How cool
And,
is this? Have you guys seen this thing? Look at this.
Oh yeah.
Water.
Oh, they know about that.
Water. Comes out of this. Comes out of this water. We're on anchor. We can't waste it anymore.
Okay, guys, I think that's it for this episode. Cheers.
This.
Oh, by the way, just because, like, why not? Let's just tell you.
Show yours first.
So mine says.
We got these in Mexico.
I don't know if it's backwards. Do you think it's backwards?
No, it's not. It's the phone.
I pooped today.
And mine says, "Tell your boobs to stop staring at my eyes."
Just
'Cause
because
why
why
not?
not?